Welcome to Build the Weight Loss Practice of Your Dreams. I'm your host, Carol Clark, and depending upon when you're watching this, it is December already. I cannot believe it, but it has been an amazing year for so many practices that I've worked with, really hitting those goals, building entirely new practices, taking chaos, turning it into calm, building profit instead of just revenue. It's been really fun. And a lot of times we want to take December and sort of sit back and not do as much effort because we have some thoughts in our head as to what people are wanting and what's going on in the world. And sometimes it can hold us and our teams back from really making a big impact in December as well. So this month we are focusing entirely on how to make the most of December and how to plan for a great 2022. Because now is not the time to just sit back, it's the time to really make sure that this happens. So what we're going to do in week one today is going to talk about excuses and the things that hold us back from really making the impact that we can and should in December. Next, we're going to talk about how to optimize your own personal productivity, because that plays into everything for your business and for your life. So no matter where you are in your practice, no matter what position you may hold in any business, this is going to be really helpful for you. And then the next week, we're going to be talking about your top joys and your top frustrations in your business, because that is going to lead into week 4. And that is how to create your 2022 success plan. And I know a lot of you like to dive into this all right away. So of course, I always have a freebie that goes along with this, and it is at weightlosspracticebuilder.com/free. If you're a member of Bariatric Business Boss, we are deep diving on this even farther in membership and one-on-one with our calls. We could do this together. And if you're one of the other private consulting clients that I may have, we have been setting plans and putting together timelines and everything. So anyhow, it is great time for this to be happening. So let's get to what we're talking about in week 1, and that is excuses. So a lot of times, like I say, we may have had a rough year. Maybe you've had one of your best years ever. Hopefully it's the latter. But at any rate, in December, sometimes we can come up with some excuses that hold us back or hold our team back that you may hear. The first one may be, Black Friday and Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday is over. So everyone has already bought what they're planning on purchasing, and they are ready to move into just more of a coasting mode. But the reality is, really in December, about 53% of Americans haven't even bought one Christmas gift, and it's a issue. They're out there looking for things, and you have a way to impact that. So having that thought that people aren't purchasing the rest of the year really is sort of a falsehood. We end up pre-selling a lot of things for 2022 for the next year in December, and it's a time where people are starting to think about that fresh start in January. And while in the weight loss field, we find oftentimes in January people want to kind of do it themselves, and then they reach out to people once they may have a little bit more difficulty and want that expertise. You can help pre-sell that for them. You can do it in a lot of different ways. We're going to talk about that. The next one is that no one thinks about weight loss in December, so there's no sense in even trying to sell our products or our services. And that may be true, but there are other ways to go at this. We do want to help them so they don't have that weight gain at the end of the year during the holidays. If we can help them at least maintain their weight and or lose some weight so that they're feeling their best January 1st, that is a great selling point for people. And that really hits for people who are motivated. And a lot of people are wanting to focus on their health. And so December should be no different. It's one of those things where if you deploy to them the tools that they need in December to really not have weight gain or to even lose some weight before January hits, to meet some of their health goals and just to improve their health or their fitness, it can be so valuable and set you up for greater success in the new year. The other thing that many people may be thinking is that, with the continued pandemic conditions and impending restrictions and all that sort of thing, people are just spending less. But the fact of the matter is people are still spending, and they are particularly turning a little bit more inward. People have had time to do some, some self evaluation, and they want to improve themselves. There are a lot of people that are feeling that way and not just throwing in the towel. So to just throw in the towel thinking those thoughts will really do yourself a disservice and do your patients a disservice. It's time to sort of ramp that up. Call it out for what it is. Call it out and say, in December, a lot of people just kind of throw in the towel. But now is the time to really focus on getting that skill set in place to make sure that you at least maintain your weight and that you do at least stay on track for the most part. Of course, with some indulgences as people have, but really helping them figure out how they can enjoy the holidays without focusing everything on food and ending up with some weight gain. So they are still out there, and even though there are those restrictions and there is still continued there's some tumultuous times, of course, and many of us doing weight loss surgery, there are some restrictions that are occurring in terms of being able to do those cases. There's lots of different things, but sometimes you just have to look at those as opportunities and really look at it and call out what's really happening out there and help people to realize that their health is really super important, especially because it affects every aspect of their life and how they interact in business and in their home life and how they set an example and how they just really personally feel each and every day and their level of energy. So it's important to call that out and to not just give in to those sorts of thoughts. A fourth excuse that sometimes we have in December is that, we are short-staffed and the team just needs a break. We're going to take this time and just really sit back and just take that break. Now, granted, you may have some people who are taking vacation. That's great. You should be taking some time off. But it's not just the time to kind of just sit back. This is the great time, even if you do have some of those periods of time where you may be a little bit slower, but if you're kind of implementing some of these things, you won't be. But if you are, it's a time to really be deep diving into your plan for 2022 and really starting to pre-sell some of that plan. So I do encourage you to do that and not just kind of sit back or just, take a break and that sort of thing. Really work to be adding, if you are short-staffed, to be working on finding that person. I know you are already, but there are different ways you can help attract them. So anyhow, that is really important. The other thing is people sometimes say, anymore, there's just too much competition out there. Other people have deeper pockets. Other people are doing this or that. I mean, I have to say, in the state of Virginia where we are, we're one of the most, my husband's one of the only independent, there's only a small percentage, they're independent practitioners in this whole state. But really, it's a way to do things differently. It's a way to get your message out there in your own unique way. It's a way to attract the people that you want to work with the most. And it really is something that can be a great opportunity where you are in the driver's seat. And it can be done in very low cost or no cost ways. So, and that's a lot of some of your content, the things that I talk about all the time. So I want to make sure that even though there's competition out there, there is plenty of business to go around, so to speak, and it's our duty to help those people in and around our community and even for our farther reach to help improve their health. That's what we're in this for in the first place. So it is something that even if there's competition, don't focus on that. Focus on how you are unique and different and how you can attract the people that need your products and services the most. The next thing is I can't change my business model this late in the game. Sometimes we do this in life, in personal life and in business, but we just figure we know what we know and this is the way it is and we're just going to continue on in our same business model. But there are so many different ways that you can accomplish the same thing. And so December can be a great month to put some thought into that. And we're going to dive into that when we get into the planning stages in the next few weeks. But this is something where the sky is the limit and you can really develop a model that serves you, your team, and your patients in the best way possible. And it's really enjoyable. It doesn't have to be something that is daunting or more of a drudgery. It's something that should be exciting to do. So really taking the time to focus on what the model is that you want, especially if you are an independent practitioner, and making sure that that comes to fruition, no matter what that vision is for you. So those are some of the excuses that we hear all the time. So how are we going to overcome some of these? So let's get into some nitty gritty. The first thing is you have to understand that you always have a choice. Always. You have a choice as to how you're going to respond to any of these mindsets. You can give into them or you can combat them with action. And so always realizing that you have a choice is one of the first things that will help give you momentum moving forward and really get your creative juices flowing. The next thing is to think about your patients. If you serve from where you know your patients need you the most, you will be successful because you can reach those people in an easier fashion versus just thinking about some gimmicky thing. So if you think about what it is that they need most, especially right now, and you provide that, you set yourself apart from all the competitors that are out there. You set yourself apart and attract people who really want and need what it is that you have to offer. So that can look like a lot of different things. They need meal planning, they need information, and they need some set guidance on how to approach parties so that they're not focusing on the food. And if they are, they can still enjoy the food, but how they can actually maintain their weight. There's so many tips. I mean, I write about this all the time. You know, I'm a writer, but I provide content, and this is really a big deal. And so that's something that you can continue to work with your patients on, whether it's one-on-one or in your posts and that sort of thing for social media, your blogs, your videos, all that sort of thing. So making some of that really easily accessible for your patients, emailing it out to them as well as a part of your e-newsletter that you send out each week, it is really something. So think about what it is they need most. So meal planning is one of them. They also need just all those tips for how to avoid weight gain or weight regain during these times. They also need goal setting for the new year and how to hit the ground running and how to start the new year out with energy and have everything set so that they're not trying to figure it out the first week of the year and then kind of getting defeated because they're overwhelmed. So you can help them with that planning. You can also provide added accountability, add in some additional visits that they may need during the holiday time. You can also add those resources that I was talking about, educational resources. You can also provide just some support, some challenges, the education that they need. And you also can provide them with convenience. This is a busy month, as we all know. So making sure that you are letting them know exactly how convenient it is for them to meet with your coaches, your team, with you, how they can do that very easily, how they can purchase your products very easily, having online availability, having an ability for them to order and just stop by and pick it up, the ability for them to do gift cards. Convenience is something that's really important. So having that in place in December is another great idea. And then you can also be doing, like I mentioned briefly, some challenges. So you can do some challenges. I might even be doing some here in Weight Loss Practice Builder for you to participate in. So you can do a challenge for them so that they can take and make it short so it's doable. Just make it a 5-day challenge where they build their muscle for how they can actually not gain weight this holiday season, how they can be provided with the recipes that they need that are lower in some of the sugars and the things that they don't and shouldn't be having, some of the lower carbohydrate things. So making sure that you provide some challenges. It could be a cooking challenge, it could be a fitness challenge, it could be a habit challenge, it could be, there's so many different challenges you could do for a short period of time. Provide that with them, have some fun with it, gain some new people into your practice, some new energy, and then I can help you later. You can use that to leverage that for some added reusing it later in the year. So there is just so many opportunities, and this is just the first week of December. I hope that helped instill some vigor, some excitement, and if you want to talk about anything further, reach out to me, Carol, Karol, at weightlosspracticebuilder.com. I've got some exciting things coming. We're going to have a few challenges. I also have some VIP days coming up that I'm going to be mentioning soon, and I'm really starting to deep dive with some practices on really their plan for 2022, and so they are ready to go in January. So if you're interested in anything like that, reach out to me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you found this valuable and helpful, and until next week, take care.